everyone, welcome. I'm Anoushka D'Souza, and we are doing an interview with another amazing small business. As you know, I'm the founder of Conscious Productions, and I love to be surrounded by amazing people who do amazing things in this world. And speaking of which, we're here at Lovely Sugaring, who's been a pivotal experience in Toronto for my body. And I'm really grateful that Spirit and Universe connected us together years ago. And we have the beautiful founder here. Hello, Mila.
Thank you.
How's it going?
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for saying yes. It means a lot to me. We're going to let the audience know a little bit about you, how you put this amazing space together, how you even came about this idea, like, I'm going to do this for the world. Okay, so we're going to go through different questions. But first and foremost, I'd like to let them know what it is that you do for Toronto.
I'm Mia Cardona, and I do hair removal since I was 23. I was able to learn through a sugaring company. And at my salon, we do hair removal with sugaring.
I love that. Okay, so thank you so much for introducing the people. The reason why I had this idea to do the interviews because I need people to know that certain services like this exist, and the services with the right people and the right energies is very important. So I have to ask you, when was that moment when you said, "This is what I want to do for the world"?
When I got fired.
Okay.
Yeah, I got fired, and I felt like a really awful pain in my stomach and in my body, and then it came back into like just feeling very frustrated, and then you feel like you're not good enough, like no one is going to bet for you, like help you, right? And I said to myself, I never want to feel this again. And then the only way that I couldn't do that was by working on my own and doing my own thing. And then I remember, like, yes, I'm amazing at what I do. I have a great skill. I know how to sugar. I can start for free and even offer it on Facebook, Instagram. And I know people are going to come back because I'm that good, right? And then I also knew that there was kind of like a suit with people that are transgendering. And there's a woman with a penis or a trans man that wants to come in and have that without being judged and without having to pay double or sometimes triple the price depending on your gender, right? Because male tends to be a little bit more expensive. The reason why is because they have a penis. So situations like that, like, made me feel like we needed a neutral environment with neutral prices that just offers people acceptance. We may not be excellent at everything because we're still learning, you know, but I find like clients that are in the community and that appreciate what I'm doing, they teach me so much. So these past 7 years, you know, you make mistakes and you grow from them, and seeing people feel comfortable in their skins, it's simple because it's very intimate, like you're half naked with someone, and then eventually you do get to know them, and then you become acquaintances or even friends. But you know, it's a process, and then someone coming through the door is scary for a lot of people. Even too, or I tend to have very wide beds in my rooms. And the reason why is because we should be able to serve all body types, and I don't want anybody to come in and just feel that they're going to break my table. So I want something sturdy, something that just makes people feel.
Thank you so much for saying that. That was really beautiful, especially the table. Like, I didn't even think about that, but from a business point of view, from like understanding your clients and just wanting to have a welcoming space, that makes so much sense. You mentioned when you got fired from one, and that really was like an ending, but an opening at the same time. And when you first started, because that's where when we first met within the other space, which is in this space.
So no, I started in 2018.
Okay.
2018, sorry, my numbers are
it's
been
okay.
a long time, but I was down on St. Clair and I was there for a whole year, and that was where I was giving away things for free because I needed to build up my clientele. And then somehow, like, someone got audited in the building for doing a bad service with a last service. And the person of the city came in and they were like, okay, we're gonna also do the auditing and see how you're running your business. And then she told me that if by July of the next year I wasn't moved out of that location, she was going to come and close my business. So I meditating again. I was like, what do I do now? Like, I thought that was the end of my dream. And then I had a message and it said medical office. And so I woke up the next day on Google and my medical office for rent, and then near Dufferin, and then this shows up like right there.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now I'm going to lean into something that you said twice. You said you've meditated to find certain answers. Can you speak on that? Like how did you get to that state to know that when you meditate, the right answer shows up for you?
I sort of I like life coaching, and so for many years since I was 19, I had a life coach that taught me meditation. And so she said, like when I didn't have answers and I was journaling and doing to ask my inner self and connect with that energy, right? And that's what I did. I just listened. Like sometimes it's hard because I don't see things. I am just sitting in darkness with myself, and like things come up at you, and like you kind of like go like, wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe, oh, why didn't I think about that before? You
Right.
know?
Okay. That's really beautiful. Thank you for that. That's like a little tip for you all who are starting out your businesses or even an entrepreneur space, but not sure how to take the next steps or are new to meditation. That was really nice. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
I think meditating is a door to your mind that you have to learn how to use and open. And you have
Wow.
to find that key, you
Yes,
know?
totally. Yeah. And so when you don't have an answer or you're like trying to find it, do you do it? Do you have like a certain routine that you do? Like, do you just, you said like sit in the darkness, or do you put your, like, do you go for a walk or?
No, it will be in the room. I do love going on meditation walks, the best, but that's
Yeah,
more when I'm like having great problems in my life, like arguments,
got it.
situations. I feel overload. I just
Yes,
go for a walk.
yes.
But when I need like guidance or I need meditating, I definitely like find a place where I'm alone. And usually I do it when my partner is not home. I do have a pet and she's fine with me doing meditation. And I just do like literally in the middle of my house. Like I
Okay.
have a carpet
Yeah.
and I just sit there and I try to just do like a lot of belly breathes and just kind of like feel my body like from the top.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I go and I'm like, hi toes,
Oh, I love
hi
that.
knees, like
Yes,
you know,
yes, being intentional with the
yeah.
process. I love
Because
that.
then the moment that you make that connection with your body, then you actually can hear your mind, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you
Because
can
your
hear
body
your mind.
feels grateful that hey, you're paying attention to me.
Yes, and you're building a even more sacred connection to different parts of the body. It's awesome. Okay, so moving into like the entrepreneurial space of lovely sugaring, um, some of the procedures that you've created into the space, like what are some things that you've just recently learned, as opposed to, let's just narrow it down to two things that you didn't know when you were first starting out.
I would say in on eyebrow lamination. I
Nice.
really like love the look of my clients, and I'm like, I need to do that. Like,
Yeah.
really like doing that, and so I seen like you enhance people beauty like with what they already have rather than putting something on them, right?
Okay.
And sometimes like there are serums, and our body grows and it evolves, and sometimes like if you put serum on your eyelashes, you may not have very long eyelashes, but if you work on them, you will have, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people try things, but they're not consistent, and consistency is always the key. Like,
Yes.
you know, you can buy as many beauty products, like even with sugaring as well. Like, if you don't come here every 6 to 7 weeks, it's going to be painful, it's
Yeah.
going to hurt you,
Yeah.
and it's not going to worth your money.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, where do you see yourself with Lovely Sugaring in the next, let's say, 2 years?
I see myself more into management
Okay.
because we're ready to build a family,
Okay.
and I think like more educational, a little bit less in the room.
Okay.
I do love my clients in the room, and I try to be there for the ones that I have really deep relationships with, or like those that really need me to be there. But I also feel like the skill that I have, I can teach it to other people, and like
Absolutely.
I have employees that have bettered me already.
Wow.
And that's just like, thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit about that? Like, how was it having your first few employees, like even teaching them a skill?
At first it was nice, but then like people always break your heart because you teach someone and you put all this effort and you think they're gonna stay with you and then they leave. So I had a few people do that, even friends too. And then someone says no, Like, don't cry over it, just move on, And that's like where my life coaching comes in, where I'm like, okay, this is an emotion, and it's hard to be let down, It's hard to feel used, because I am teaching you a skill.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even charge because I
Okay.
think that they're my employees, so
Yes.
I teach you the skill and they walk home.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I love your determination and your ability. Like that's a really powerful skill just to like keep it up, keep on moving, which is why I think you've been able to build like this. And so I just want to congratulate you on that. You're welcome.
Because the university provides, because from that unit, my landlord calls me and she's like, okay, your lease is up. I have this big office. Do you want it? And I'm like, okay. And so I had to go sit down and do numbers and be like, can we really afford to move to here?
Yeah.
After COVID, like we haven't really recovered. Can I really grow when you're lacking, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, it was a chance. We took it, and I'm happy. I'm happy. We've been here for a year and a half now in this store location, and we have 5 rooms.
Okay.
So right now we're only using 3, but eventually, as time goes and we have more people, we can do that.
I love that. I want to dive into the actual service and sugaring itself. Like, can you dive in deeper for the people who are not knowing what it is, but only familiar with waxing as a form of hair removal?
Yeah. So we use our hands, obviously gloves, and the reason why we use our hands is because it's a little bit more precise. We are using a bowl of sugar, and then we're basically creating a strip with the sugar itself. So when you use your fingers, you're being more precise in certain delicate areas, like when you're working in a pelvic area, like labias are sensitive. Your sac.
Okay.
Like the sac is also very sensitive, and people always ask, like, how can you do that? Like, how are you gonna grip? But it's possible because of the precision and being able to use our hands.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like I find like when you sugar, the hair definitely comes from the roots. Like you really see the juicy like roots. I like to tell my clients
like
the follicles.
the deep from all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
I love that.
And there is times where people will bleed because our hair grows with blood, and so there's a little bit of remnants in the follicle of blood, and it will bleed. But I mean, it's not a lot, like you won't die from it. But sometimes people get a little bit alarmed.
Okay.
And then that's pretty much it. I feel like also sometimes like people get a little cold in the room, and then the clothing that they're wearing too, it's not sometimes the best. So always try to wear loose clothes. Don't come biking, running, etc. Like leave exercise for another day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, because that's the second thing I was going to ask. Like, could you dive deeper into what they would need to know as their first time sugaring?
So if you're coming for a first time, you need to have minimum 4 weeks of hair growth. But if you want a good experience, 5 to 6 weeks is ideal. No creams, no lotions, no excessive exercising, as we were talking about. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but if you have a painkiller of your choice that you wanna, take as well, just to kind of remove the itch and the feeling, like the tingling sensation. And then, don't psych yourselves. Like, just think about, hey, I'm gonna be there for 30 minutes, for 20 minutes, and that's gonna be it. Like, I'm not gonna be there for the rest of my life. Because sometimes people psych themselves up and they don't finish because they're anxious and their emotions get in the middle.
So really, you do have some people who haven't finished?
Yeah, of course. And like obviously gonna know who's gonna finish and who doesn't. And that's why when we have a first time, we always start a bikini line first, or like the groin area first, and then the other side of the groin. And then we keep going in slowly as we see how the person is progressing, right? Like we don't go from the middle out, because you can, like you gotta go outside in. And then that way it makes it a little easier. And so if the person says, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, then that's it.
Okay. And what are some aftercare procedures that we should know?
I always tell my clients to avoid anything that's hot, like heat. No hot water, hot tub, sauna, or exfoliation for at least 24 hours. After that, you should be fine. Don't book your appointment the same day that you're going to be flying. You're going to be sitting in that plane for 5, 6 hours. Like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like, I don't know. Some people do that,
Yeah,
right? I
timing,
mean,
yeah.
timing is timing, but sometimes,
Still, yeah.
planning a little bit is easier, right?
Yeah, and it helps with your body, like honoring your body instead of putting it through so much, you know?
Yeah, putting stress and all that stuff. Like we can also sometimes people ask me if can they come when they're in their cycle,
Hmm.
and yes, you can if you use a tampon or a diva cup.
I
If
didn't
it's
know that.
easier for you, if you don't experience any pain, you can, but you will be 100 times more sensitive.
Yeah.
But when you have to, you have to, and that's pretty much it. I think
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think anything else is
Okay.
in my mind.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information. And what's a quote that you would like to share with people that you're really like leaning into right now?
Always, I feel like this is very to my heart. I love the moon, and so I feel like when you reach to the moon, even if you don't get there, you will land among the stars. And
Mm,
we are all stars.
I
We're
love that.
dust of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So why not love yourself like a star
I love
too?
that. Oh, thank you so much for
You're
doing this
welcome.
for me. I'm so grateful.
Me
This,
too.
yeah, thank you. And like, I hope you got some information and learned about entrepreneurial perspective as well as learning about sugaring and how it can support your body. Thank you so much. We have a little surprise and special for you watching this amazing video. Thank you to Lovely Sugaring. We are Our community has a discount code. So if you put CXPX20 as the discount code when you book your session, you will get 20% off. I'm going to also put the discount code over here at the show notes and over here. But other than that, if you have any questions, definitely drop them here in the comment below. We'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you
You're
for doing this.
welcome.
And I hope you have an amazing day
Thank you.
and looking forward to what you bring forth with Lovely
Yeah, I
Sugaring.
just hope to meet more people. I think people are books
Mm.
and just come. I like to read.
Yes, I love that. Awesome. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.